Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody, everywhere. Welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Mohe Wowero, and you are?
Massimo here.
Hallelujah, my beautiful wife, and thank God so much. We thank you for taking time to watch our video today. We thank you again for the many likes and views you've been having on our videos. God bless you so much. We are continued to be impressed by what you're doing. Today we have a new video. Kama kawaida, you get to introduce it. Tell us what's our new video today.
Our new video is on before the person.
Yeah, before the person. Yes, in our last video, we were discussing about is he or she the one? And we left the conversation at there are particular things that you should consider as you are choosing the person that you are going to get married to. But more important than you choosing your spouse or choosing the person that you should get married to, it is important for you to understand yourself as a person, because there is the person you bring into the relationship. And more than the relationship, it is important to work on the person. And we say that it is important that you, on your end, work on yourself, and the person that God has ordained for you, let them work on themselves. And when the time is right, when both of you are ripe, God is going to bring you together and make you one item. It is therefore important for us to now come to today's video, which is before this person. Before this person comes, what should I be doing? Because most of us spend our time
waiting for the person,
fantasizing about our wedding, yes, choosing gowns, and all that. I think is just secondary, in my opinion. Where, in fact, let me say that whole shenanigans about the wedding, people are going to plan it for you. In fact, that you don't need to concern yourself so much about it. In fact, your life after the wedding is more important than the wedding itself. And so therefore, you should spend more time preparing for the life after the wedding than preparing for the wedding. The wedding is just one day. Somebody told me that even though we place so much significance on the wedding, kuna vitu tatu tu zitabaki: pete, picha, na video. Yes. So it is not as big of a deal as you want to make it. Because hizo tent zitabomolewa hiyo jioni na ziweko nje. Hiyo chakula yenye yote watu watakula itaisha. But the character that you have after that wedding is the most important thing in this whole discussion. It is important for you as a person to understand yourself and to work on yourself, even as God is preparing you for the person that He has in store for you. So today, we are going to be discussing about what are these things that you should be focusing on, even as you wait for the person. So our first point in our discussion today is purpose. And I think purpose has been overrated and has been discussed in several circles. And in my honest opinion, I think that purpose has been misunderstood. What do I mean? There is a difference between what you think you should do and what God has in store for you. Because it is not so much about your purpose, but the purpose of God over your life. Because you do not exist by yourself. Somebody said that if you want to know the purpose of an item, you need to consult the manufacturer. Because in as much as the item may be used for another function, it is only the manufacturer that can tell you the original purpose of the item that is being used. For instance, the reason I had this example and it really changed my life, the reason why an Android phone sells for such a high price is because it has over 200 applications. But most of us only get to use the camera, the dial tone, or the call logs, and a few other applications. So in as much as you have a very expensive phone, you have not been able to fully utilize the purpose or the ability of the phone. So in a similar manner, unless you consult the creator of you, you will not be able to fully actualize what God has created you to be and what God has created you to do. Therefore, purpose becomes important for you to discover and walk in before you even go into a relationship. Why is it important? If you do not discover the purpose of God over your life before you go into a relationship or a marriage, what happens when the person who you go into the relationship with or into the marriage with is not comparable? What we were talking about is not complementary to your purpose. For instance, my wife here is a worship leader. Myself, I am a preacher. If her preaching, her worship ministry, and my preaching ministry sort of intertwine and they have synergy, what would have happened if I married a waiter, for instance, or another person? You will have found that because of my demanding ministry, I will have felt as though she is not supporting my ministry. But it is because her purpose is in hospitality, whereas my purpose is in ministry. Therefore, she had to first discover her worship ministry and walk in it, and me to discover my preaching ministry and walk in it. And then, when we are meeting both of us, we are meeting people who have purposes that are aligned.
Sure.
Therefore, it is important for you to discover what did God intend when He created me. The Bible says in Jeremiah chapter number 1, verses number 5, that before I formed you, I knew you. Before I created you in your mother's womb, I ordained you to be a prophet. So there is a you before you existed on earth. There is an original ordination of yourself before you manifested on the face of the earth. And these are the things you should interrogate before you even begin to ask, who is this person that is supposed to help me?
Yeah.
The argument is, why would you want a helper if you don't know what you want to be helped with? I know her worship ministry and her prayer ministry supports my preaching ministry. But it's unless I discovered my preaching ministry that I would have known I need a prayerful wife. So it is important for you to understand your purpose. Young man out there, do not be concerned about weddings and rings. Concern yourself with the purpose, the ordination of God over your life. That is our first point. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, tell us our second point.
So our second point is on structure.
Let's discuss about structure. Structure is important for you as a person when you're living your life, because a building is only as firm as its foundation and its structure. If a building has a firm foundation but the structure is weak, when winds come, the Bible says in Matthew chapter number 7 that two builders built. One he built upon the rock, whereas another one built upon the sand. The difference between these builders was not seen during the building of the houses. The difference between these builders was seen in the times of the storm. Now, the difference between somebody that has taken time to work on their structure and that whom is running into relationships will come when the storms of relationships come. And the truth is, every relationship has a storm. In fact, it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. It is not if the storms happen, it is about when the storms happen. Now, if you have built your structure, structure is the overall outlay of the building. If your structure is firm, your structure, I mean your emotional maturity, your psychological maturity, your social maturity. If you have been able to build these structures, when the storms of relationships come, you will be able to weather the storms. But if you are coming into a relationship looking for validation, looking for people to make you feel good about yourself, looking for people to confirm to you that you are beautiful, when these people utter a word that is painful, when these people say something that is demeaning, because there is no structure, you are going to collapse altogether. So before you run into a relationship, work on your structures. How do I handle emotions? How do I handle heartbreak? How do I handle being betrayed? How do I handle being denied? Or are you a crybaby? You know, there are so many people out there, grown-ups with ties and wigs and very beautiful hair, but inside they are crybabies. How is your structure as a person? Because you can only be able to manifest that which you have inculcated. So if you have inculcated crying babying, you're only going to manifest cry babying. But if you have been able to calculate and cultivate maturity, you are going to manifest maturity. I can give you an example about this wife of mine who is seated with me here. I have given her enough reasons to be angry. But because she had built structure, she's able to put up even with my orimo sometimes. For those of you who understand that language. So structure is very important when you are preparing for the person. Our third point.
Our third point is on dealing with the past. And I want to emphasize more on this because when you carry your past to the present life or to the future life, it means that you'll be having holes that are unfilled. So if you have a past that maybe is disturbing you right now, maybe you are single and you don't have someone right now, you're supposed to be dealing with that past. Perhaps maybe you had a relationship with someone and maybe you slept with that person. If you carry that past with you to your marriage, it means that your marriage will be incomplete, because every time you'll be having like a challenge in your marriage, you'll be remembering what happened and you'll be like, maybe God is judging me for what I did. Maybe you're feeling like God has not forgiven you, and you feel that kama kutakuwa na kitu itatokea in future, maybe you lack something in your home, maybe you lack a child, maybe you go through challenges, you'll have that mind in you that maybe God is punishing me for what I did. So before you get that person, before you decide that now I want to get married to this person that has come, you're supposed to deal with that past, the pain and the bitterness ambayo maybe ulipitishiwa na mtu fulani because of betrayal, because maybe the person denied you, the person rejected you. Ukienda na hiyo rejection na bitterness in your marriage, it means that you will never be fulfilled. And anytime kutakuwa kunatokea kitu, you'll be feeling like your partner is not playing his role or is not playing her role well, because there is something ambayo iko kwa hati yako. There is that empty space in you that has not been filled. But when you go to God, when you pray to God to forgive you the sins that you have committed and to heal you of the bitterness that you have, it means that at least you'll be having a place to start from. Utaanzia from a place that you know, now I'm free of bitterness, I'm free of pain, I'm free of betrayal. Even as you start your new life, maybe in marriage, in relationship, it means that you'll now be expecting a fulfillment from the other partner. Kwa sababu wakati utaenda na bitterness, kuna mambo utakuwa unafanyia your partner, because utakuwa unaona it's like a sort of revenge. I want this person to feel what I felt. I want this person aingie to that in that level of pain that I felt wakati nilikuwa na the other person. So when you deal with that, hata ukiwa na huyu mtu mwingine, you'll be free. Hautakuwa na that pain, hautakuwa na that hurt ya ku revenge on others. Because I remember when I was in high school, I used to see girls cry in high school, and I became very angry. Mimi in high school sikuwa nataka story na maboy, because I was a CU leader.
Hallelujah.
So when I saw these girls crying because of heartbreak, na sijui wamebetrayiwa, kufanywa nini na my boyfriends, siku moja tu nikaketi chini na nikadecide, nikasema one of these days I'm going to revenge for these girls, and I'll make sure that sasa ilikuwa ni kuwadanganya ama ni fall in love, I'll make sure I will hurt so many men who feel what these ladies are feeling. And I came to realize that after so many years, the words ambazo niliata in that pain ya kuona wengine wakilia, they started coming to pass. And I was like, God, I just need forgiveness for this. Because nilipata I'm hurting so many people in the process ya kufikiria that they will feel what these girls were feeling. So you can still have bitterness kwa kuona watu wengine, the kind of life they are going through. So you have to kukaa na hawa watu ambao wako positive. The people who are optimistic about relationship and marriages, they can help you so much to overcome bitterness and pain.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Nikupatia service. Yes, but to add to what you're saying, baby, what you notice is that if you do not deal with your past, if I project anything in the present, that looks anything like your past, you start jumping into all manner of conclusions.
Sure.
You start shouting at me. You start throwing tantrums. Sure. But the point is, you are not even you are not arguing about what I did. You are just trying to kupigia kelele mtu mwingine in your past, just that I am the person in the present. Yeah. So if you do not deal with your past, anything today that looks like your past, it becomes a set-off. And that's why you see many relationships fail. Not because of anything,
because of the wounds,
but because of the wounds from the past. Yeah. Because of the dealings of the past that people did not deal with. I dare say to you, if there is a guy you have not forgiven, if there is a lady you have not forgiven, please don't go into a relationship. Because you're going to make the new guy, suffer for something he never did.
But also some people go through this pain, bitterness, out of maybe the challenges ambazo wamepitia from their homes. Maybe you find that your father beats your mother, your father mistreats your mother and the children. So still living is a
Yeah, parental issues actually is a major concern. And I have seen that with a lot of youth. Where somebody gets a stereotype towards men, she hates men, she does not even want to see men, not because of anything that guy did, but because of the memories that trigger into her head, immediately she sees a man. Yeah. And unfortunately, I may tick all your boxes. But one day, I'm going to come and the humanity in me is going to express. And you're going to see he is exactly like my father.
Sure.
And you start comparing me to a father I don't even know. You start comparing me to your mother, or she starts comparing me to her mother who was mistreating that I didn't even meet. And that's why you must deal with your past. The past is mostly undermined. The past is oftenly overlooked, but the past is very important.
It can affect your future.
I can tell you that if you do not deal with your past, you are building on a rocky and unshaking foundation. Our last point for today, I know today's discussion has been a bit serious. Our last point for today is capacity. What do we mean by capacity? Capacity is the maximum amount of a commodity that a container can be able to handle. And somebody gave this example. If you went to the sea with a spoon, it doesn't matter the amount of water in the sea, but you can only be able to fetch as much as
the spoon can hold.
The spoon can hold. It doesn't matter how beautiful the guy is. It doesn't matter how good looking the lady is. It doesn't matter how educated they are. But if you lack the capacity to handle this person, the relationship is going to altogether crash and fall. What do I mean? You may have the ability. Everybody has an ability to go into a relationship. What does it cost to go into a relationship? Just tell somebody I love you, buju, you look nice. That's all that is required to go into a relationship. That is the ability. But the capacity to handle somebody's emotions, to handle somebody's past, to handle somebody's destiny. And that is the most important thing. It takes time to build. And the capacity is sort of like, during this season of preparation, God is expanding this container inside you so that the weight of destiny that your spouse is going to come with, you have room enough inside you to carry it and accommodate it. But if your room for capacity is only a small container, what happens with the rest of the destiny of this person? This is why when people go into relationships, before they've built capacity, wanaanza kusema hapana, hii kazi yako it is too demanding, it is taking up family time, it is doing things. But what you don't know is that what you are asking of this person is for them to sacrifice their destiny for your comfort. So you should first build capacity so that if maybe my ministry demands that I fast for 5 days and go away, you're not saying that my husband kuokoka yake kweni yeye ndo ameokoka kuliko Yesu. You have capacity to handle the weight of responsibility that comes with my destiny. So therefore, before you even insist so much on going into a relationship, on getting into an entanglement with a person. Build your capacity. Build your internal resolve. And capacity is built through prayer. It is built through fellowship with the word. It is built through service in church. As you continue, God continues to build your capacity. And that is why you will see, previously, you used to be offended about small and petty issues. But today, you're like, am I the same person? Because God has expanded your capacity to handle God has expanded your capacity to being offended. So that the things that used to offend you yesterday don't offend you today. And that is the greatest manifestation of maturity of a believer. When the petty small issues that used to affect you yesterday, do not affect you today, because you have built capacity. You can be able to handle all facets and angles of my life. So our 4 points: purpose, structure, the past, and capacity. Deal with those 4. And if you've dealt with those 4, on our next video, we will tell you what to do. God bless you. Until next time, bye.